Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel Living Our Ascension. This is Shruti Vashisht if you're joining me for the first time. So in this video I want to speak about what happened. Why have I been missing in action? I haven't uploaded any videos in, I don't know, 2.5 weeks or something like that. And why is that, and just some changes that are coming in my channel as well. So if you'd like to hear that, hopefully this will be a short video. I'm also going to be speaking about what I learned during this period. I'm going to tell you first what happened and what I learned from it all. Hopefully you guys can relate to it, because we do go through similar themes as well, even if it's not exactly the same thing. So yeah, stay tuned and keep watching this video if you'd like to hear all about that. And below this video, check out all kinds of links that I have to work with me at a personal level. I have courses that you can buy to study yourself at home and to accelerate your ascension and self-mastery. So check out all of those links below this video. Okay, so the reason that I have been missing in action, I haven't been here, is because I got sick and I came down with like what seemed like a flu, and so we all thought that perhaps it's COVID or something, and it turned out to be basically typhoid, which it's quite like a long drawn illness basically, and it leads to a lot of weakness. So there's been a lot of weakness that's been in my body. But none of that was as bad for me as like when I found out in the beginning, the fact that I have to take some drugs for it. Like if you have been following me for a while, for a few years, you probably know that I live a very natural sort of a lifestyle. Even the makeup and everything that I use has no chemicals in it, like it's chemical free makeup. I'm vegan as well, so I don't eat organic. That's not always available, and haven't always been dedicated to eating organic, but relatively speaking it's been there's a lot of devotion in my life to purity. And so I'm not somebody who grew up taking any kind of medicines as well. Whenever I would have like the flu or whatever, I wouldn't just automatically pop pills. And especially in the past 6 years or whatever, since 2012-13, when my awakening started to happen, after that I haven't taken any medicine. So I was like, I wasn't even sure how medicines would react in my body. I think maybe once I might have taken like a paracetamol once or something when I had fever, a higher fever or whatever, but that was it, like one pill. But I wasn't sure how drugs would react in my body, and generally for me it was like I know that this is not a big deal for everyone, but for me it was like a principal thing. I'm always speaking about living a more natural life, the fact that Western medicine, it's good for some things, but we shouldn't be healing like we shouldn't be so reliant on it that we just pop pills all the time. But at this stage, I sort of within this lockdown and everything, I had no option, it felt like, other than to because it was I was feeling that almost debilitating weakness. It's like you're lying down and you're trying to sleep and you can't. So then I had to do this course of antibiotics, especially, and I used to live in San Francisco until I was there for like 1.5 years. So I came back to India last year, and in San Francisco I had this doctor, a nutritionist who is a holistic nutritionist, and she would heal every disease just through food, through basically healing through food, through changing your diet and through giving multivitamins and things like that, basically a very natural sort of a way to heal. So I was very used to that as well. So whenever something happened to me, like I would go to her. And so again, this felt like a big betrayal that I was doing to myself or what I believe in and all of that. So just to give you context, if some of you who like astrology, I'm a Cancer rising, so right now Saturn is right on the degree of my descendant. So it's like right opposite my ascendant, which is the physical body. Saturn is the planet that causes, that brings us those hard life lessons, you can say. But at the same time, it really grounds us in our mastery. It shows us it brings those tests of our physicality basically, and tests of time and how restricted we think we are. Like on the negative side, it can relate to restrictions, But at the same time, of course, restrictions come in our life in order to show us something, and how we still have freedom within that and everything. So yeah, so the first 2-3 days were very hard for me. There's also Mars retrograde that's going on, and all of you would be feeling it, you know. Mars is retrograde in its own sign of Aries. That's why there's so many fires and everything happening in the world as well. It's not I mean, I'm not saying they're all natural necessarily, but or, you know, caused by people or whatever, but the point is that they're happening. You know, even people who want to create trouble like this, they use astrology, like astrologers that have basically sold their soul to these people. They will advise people what is the right time that something that they have on their agenda can happen, you know, something more negative as well. So whatever it is, that's besides the point. But you know, I have a lot of planets in all of these signs that are undergoing these more difficult transits. So I kind of predicted beforehand that I might get a flu at this time, but I thought maybe it'll be COVID, and I don't think COVID is that big a deal if you're a generally healthy person. I don't really buy into the mass narrative of this. You know, I am careful, I'm taking precautions and all of that, because it's around, but at the same time it's not you know, being like all hyper about it, and just the way that they've blown it out of proportion and whatever, according to my opinion. You don't have to share the same opinion, but it turned out to be typhoid. So anyway, the point is that that's why I haven't been able to make videos. But at the same time, I was wondering, you know, I'm going to take you through the journey of what I was going through, and just the realizations that I had, and hopefully this will help some people, you know, to I don't know, like maybe perhaps to go within and see why we go through certain things, how even that serves us, maybe to provide such examples. And yeah, so basically, like I've been mentioning, in the first 3 days it was you know, pretty hard then, because also because I didn't know what was going on. The test results hadn't come back, and you know, there was this weakness. I still haven't recovered, by the way. I have to finish my course. I think I have at least 6-7 days left at least. I was prescribed 2 weeks of medicine. But you know, throughout it all, I felt quite protected. There's my aunt is a doctor, and she lives right downstairs in the same building basically. So there was a doctor at hand all the time. So I felt that protection. And what else did I want to say? So even though, you know, life will take you through some troubles when you're on the path of ascension, because I'm making these videos for those who are on the path of ascension, you know, that's the main focus, of course. So even when life takes you through this, it's not always because you have some karma to pay off or you've done something wrong, like, because that's what floats around in the spiritual community. And it's not always that, especially once we've integrated at a certain level. It has to do with our service, it has to do with what's unfolding next, it has to do with, you know, that one event will happen, and the realizations that that one event brings will culminate and bring together so many other things and give you that singular direction that you have now. For the different areas in your life, it will bring you that core vibration, that one thing that you need to know for the now, and then you apply it to all the different areas in your life. So that's what's been happening now with me as well. But in the beginning, the first 3 days, I didn't understand it, and you know, to me, the physical pain of any disease and whatever that I've gone through in the past or now, it's fine, it's still doable. But this feeling of being on drugs, you know, on being on antibiotics all day and being drowsy, and just it's an unnatural feeling for somebody who lives a very natural life, you know, like maybe other people don't feel it as much, but if you're not used to that being in your body, it feels like this invasion, almost like you're introducing something that is taking away life, because that is what antibiotics are, right? Like they it's like antibiotic so anti-biology or whatever. But spirit sort of whispered to me, you know, once I found out that it's typhoid and I have to take these medicines for like a good period of time. and I felt sort of helpless that, I wish I was in San Francisco where I had this doctor and it would be so different, and why am I in this position in the first place, and all those things. And I was crying like 4 times a day mainly because of just sometimes, for us, for spiritual people, it can be the breaking of the beliefs and that sacredness that we hold, because we've devoted our lives to preserving purity, to service to purity and all of that, and then we feel most helpless when we can't do it, or we feel like we can't do it, or whatever. We don't understand it yet. And I found that the moment that I surrendered to this medicine as well, because that was the, let's say, the most workable, highest solution that was available to me at that time. When I actually surrendered to it, that's sort of like I have no option, like it's sort of out of my control a little bit here, right at this time. So let me just embrace this for what it is. Let's see what it's bringing me. And Spirit was already whispering to me that your body will be able to renew and replenish fast, from this, even though it does cause harm in the body. But at the same time, some of the things that will bring you sort of will level it out, will exceed the harm that's happening. So that is what Spirit said to me, that it's going to lead to expansion of purpose. And of course back then I didn't understand it, but it just led to a lot of realizations. I was those days, like the first 3 days, were pretty dark for me, and it's unusual. I don't believe that I felt a lack of joy. Like it felt like I had no access to joy, almost, like, because in the past 6 years, whenever I've gone through like these really troublesome times as well, very challenging times, or even health problems, even if they were serious, I knew that I was healing from them in a natural way. So there are very heavy sometimes purges that happen, and pain in the body and all of that, but it felt natural to me. So that is something that somehow I am more comfortable with. Whereas introducing like this foreign element that is not natural somehow was just much more taxing on a mental and physical level for me. So I was going through this darker period where I had no access to joy, and it felt like, there was a sense of entrapment that was there. And for the first time, I felt like I was slipping back into like the how the third dimensional world feels, how we feel when we know that the third dimensional reality is the only reality, when that is our belief. And I basically, because I was in that, because I was experiencing just like something foreign in my body, and this depression that was there because of it, even though it lasted only like 2 days, I can say that it was really there, when I was really having to feel joy, because reach out for joy, because it's like, even when I'm healing in the past and I've gone through any physical disease or whatever, or anything, even when it was pretty serious, there was always this sense of, this is a purging that's happening, like when you cry, like that I'm releasing, like let's say you break up with someone and you're releasing them, and so there's this hope that you have, this is just to release, and there's you want to flow with it, you want to flow with that natural process. But when you have introduced something in your body, it's a little bit different, for somebody who holds this sort of a belief in something more natural. So there's so many emotions that were going on within me, so many questions and all of that. But I found that the moment that I surrendered, especially I'm so thankful to the people that I have in my life as well, that really came through at this time, my friends, my family, my aunt, just everybody. And that was another thing that was so wonderful to see. Even sometimes people that I don't otherwise, there was some problems going on with or whatever, just the way that people came through. So that was so fulfilling. And then I shared about this on my Instagram, that I have typhoid, and these people that I've never met, that we just follow each other on Instagram, because we're all on the path of ascension. And it was just like that heartwarming response. I felt like it was my birthday, and how you feel when it's your birthday and everybody's just wishing you. So I'm just so grateful for that, and it made me feel like a sense of community, especially because before this I was also going through that, that why are we people who are on the path of ascension in this place right now, where we, you know, what we really need is community. We need to be in a community. For example, like I said, when I was in San Francisco, there was a holistic doctor there that, you know, I really trusted, who could have helped me with this if I were there. So we need communities that are based in everything natural, whether it's you know, doctors and healthcare, schooling, just all of these different institutes, the financial system, how agriculture is done. These are just some things that I'm saying, and it just really brought up that desire that this is what I want, this is what I desire. And so this is what happens when you go through the more challenging times in your life and you're wondering, why, what do I have to do with this third dimensional reality? This is, you know, not my karma or whatever. But it's usually to bring about a sense of purpose, to bring about your mission. Just life takes you to a certain level and to show you things. And I felt this deep compassion as well. That was another thing that I was feeling, this deep compassion for people who are you know, who only believe that the third dimensional reality exists. It's like they have no other option, is what it feels like. People who are in much graver states than what I was going through, you know. I mean, I know that it's typhoid, I'll heal from it once the course is done or whatever it is. But there's people who have like cancer and they believe it can't be cured, and just all kinds of things, you know, that exist in society. And it brought me, because of this, bringing me into a closer awareness, like a closer empathy for those who are experiencing mainly the third dimensional reality. It also brought me a sense of purpose, because even before this began, this disease and all of that, I was wondering, you know, that my channels are there's a slight change in the direction, in the sense of I have been feeling how more and more people are being drawn to like they're asking questions in 2020, you know, that we need to live a different life because of how world events are happening and where is truth and all of that. They're interested in more of these things. And so it brought me more on that level of understanding of what it feels like, what kind of questions people have, what kind of frustrations people might have, because it's been so long that I've felt that, you know, at a deep level. Of course I can empathize at a certain level, but not in the way that sometimes when you're going through it yourself, to a certain degree. So all of that then brought about this new direction in my channel as well. I have a second channel on manifestation and conscious creation, and I was feeling like, you know, I don't only want to speak about manifesting like a relationship, manifesting money and abundance and health and all of those things, but I want to expand a little bit more. And I was in that place where I was wondering what that really is. It hadn't come forth properly, and that found more of a solid ground, because I was able to see what kind of questions people have when they're in these situations where they feel like it's, you know, it's debilitating or whatever, and they want to know truth and they want something different. What kind of questions are those? What is that state of being, and how to sort of answer that? Because that is what we do when we hold the light. We bring forth that consciousness, you know. And it's not like I'm not saying that we are God or we are better than anybody. It's just you are a vessel for light, and light flows through you. And when humanity has, at a mass level, has this question, you know, so what is the answer? What is the answer? What are we doing wrong? Or, you know, why is life difficult and all of that? And then it comes through when it's a genuine, when it comes from that genuine place of desiring change, when you're ready to go all out and change. So when you are holding the light, and you know, you're and I'm speaking to all of you here, it's not just me, there's mosquitoes, sorry, that's why I'm doing this. All of you are doing this. If you are activated to a certain level, even if you're not saying anything, it's just by the vibration that you hold. But it can also play out in more physical ways, like, you know, like through my channel, through how we speak to people, how we interact with people, how we hold space for them, you know, the things that we're creating out in the world, and all of that stuff. So I found that direction changing, and it basically became more clear to me, a little bit more clear what exactly to do. And I was channeling through, you know, what I want to bring through in my videos too. Then let's see, what else did I learn? There was just so much. Just this desire for more simplicity as well somehow is landing within me now, because you realize what is most important for you. Even though this wasn't that debilitating, like I said, I know it's just typhoid, I'll heal from it. It's not like you know, I felt like I was going to die or something. But at the same time, I had this time to reflect because I was, you know, I was working, like I'm a teacher and I teach, so I was able to take my lessons because we're all working from home, and I only have a few lessons a day, so that was possible. But I was still the rest of the day lying down a lot and had lots of time to think and go within. So just this desire for simplicity also came through. You know, I don't know, somehow even the things that I was teaching the kids, this was a unit that was planned by other teachers. It wasn't something I initiated, but they were talking about sustainability, about fast fashion, about just the environment and stuff, and how we just consume and consume. And I was teaching that to the kids and having these realizations of my own as well, that, you know, we can sort of choose differently, how we can narrow that down even more, the choices that we make, you know, invest in things that have better quality, that are more full of life, that are better for the planet and all of that. And what are those things? So when you are living like that, you will make fewer choices. You will be buying and accumulating, let's say, fewer things than you have in the past, but they will have more quality. So that it brought me again deeper into that as well, and just a more simple life. And you know, right now I don't live in my own home, I live in my parents' home. And like I said, we came back here last year, and things are very cluttered because there's just so much stuff. You know, we have lived in different countries, like for 10 years I was outside of India, and just the things that we accumulated from there, sometimes you can't even throw things away because one country it's super cold, one country it's super hot, and like, you know, you're gonna need those things, you know, that you bought before and whatever. So there's just a lot of accumulation, and I'm always feeling that, you know, this sense of like there's too much and I need it to be more simple. So even if, you know, because it's not my home, I can't make too many changes, but at the same time, that desire, when it comes within you, whatever the desire is, it's creating things in the energetic realms first, in the consciousness realms first, and it's creating that life for you. So, you know, whenever there is that unfoldment, whenever it's the right time, it'll be there. It's like, this is how manifestation works. It works from our inner desire first. And also about cooking at home, you know, because the way that you get typhoid is if you eat out. And I had ordered, there was just this one thing that I ordered, this one meal that was like noodles, and I don't usually order, you know, things like this. Like I'm vegan, so I sometimes order like a vegan cake or that sort of stuff. And those places that I order from, you know, it's not because of them, like they're very hygienic, they're kind of fancy places as well, because they're vegan restaurants here are sort of fancy, but it was just that one place. So I even know what place caused this. And so this desire within me arose, you know, that if I want more variety at this time, I can cook at home. And I was also missing the time when I was more creative with using natural resources and creating things. I mean, I'm still creative in different ways now, like especially through media. But there was a time a few years ago where I was, you know, doing so many things, making candles. I was even selling them on my channel. I was painting. I was working with essential oils and making these perfumes and all kinds of these, you know, different things. And I remember even 1.5 years ago, while I was still in San Francisco, I was cooking for myself every day. It felt so nice, you know, to be able to put in those exact ingredients that I want. And it's a different setup because I'm in my family situation right now. And sometimes we make excuses for ourselves, you know, and we don't go all the way in. So again, that brought me clarity of how I can cook at home and become creative. So it fulfills that more feminine desire for creativity that I was having, and at the same time something that's going to be more healthful for me. So you see, I'm giving you these multiple examples to show you just how much was brought to me. It's like that alignment with purpose, the exact purpose that you have now, and everything that you have invoked. Like all of this relates to, these are all answers to the questions that I had before this disease, you know, happened in my body. I was desiring simplicity, I was desiring more feminine creativity and flow, you know, and all of these things. What should I do with my channel? I know that there's a big change coming, I'm not sure what. I know that I want to work more with people who are not necessarily just on the path of ascension, but they also desire spirituality in their life, which is why I created my second channel, 2 months ago, and it's been unfolding. So all of those things came to me. It's like one event happened and all of those answers were there, you see. And so Spirit was right. Like, now I'm looking back in retrospect, and that voice that I heard in the beginning, that I was like, should I even believe this or not? Because I'm going through all of this in my body. But yeah, you're gonna take these medicines that you're taking. They do have a detrimental effect on the body, but at the same time, what this is bringing you, equals that out and exceeds it. So it's like life, when we are on the path of ascension, it'll bring us what is for our highest good now. It's not always the perfect situation. Like, if you're imagining that one day I'll be enlightened, or one day I will hit 5D, or one day this and that, and things will be perfect. It's not like that. Perfection is about embracing what is here now, and what is the value here now, especially when we hit those things where it feels like right now I don't have a choice. There's actually freedom there in that choice too. Things that feel restrictive. So, perhaps because of this, one day in the future, I will find myself in a community where I'll be living in such a way where I have access to natural doctors and all of that, and I won't be in the same situation again. So there's just overall so much of a win as well. Okay, so guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I think that is all that I wanted to say. Oh no, there is one more point actually that I want to make as well. So another thing that was happening at this time, because I was on media a lot, social media, and it was somehow having more of an impact on me than it doesn't really have that much of an impact on me ever, to be honest. But at this time, because of everything that's happening in astrology and the drugs that I'm on and whatever, I was feeling that up and down a little bit more. And somehow I found myself more frustrated when I was reading things about pedophilia and how it's, things are being revealed, and there's stuff about Paris Hilton also revealing abuse and stuff about her abuse in the past. There's a free movie, in case you don't know, like, it's on YouTube, that came out. I think it's called This Is Paris. Yeah, you can watch that if you want. I don't ever follow Paris Hilton, but somebody had mentioned that she's changing, and she's and I felt that this is the new Aquarian age. Influencers and whatever are changing, and I'm going to make another video about some of, like, an ascension update as well, about the new world order, our role in it. I was already speaking about it before I got sick, and then I wasn't able to make videos, but there's just so much happening with the dawn of the Aquarian age. And as we're moving into this, some things can't be hidden. Even people who are choosing that more old lifestyle and have that celebrity and have led a more sort of fake lifestyle, or whatever you want to call it, a more shallow one, not so based in spirit at all, and so influenced so many people. Even that is changing. There's something within the human, when it hits you at a certain level, like, you can't help but change. So we're seeing that happen as well, and it's a hint into how we are becoming the new influencers, the ones who are really, because you see people like Jamila Jamil, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's an actress and she's an activist, and she has like a few million followers on Instagram. She's always speaking about the patriarchy, how that plays out, lots of wisdom that is there, rights of people like trans people, and all of that stuff. And yeah, she's really inspirational as well. So we're seeing the dawn, like, it's a new era. I really feel that we'll be, the new influencers and the new celebrities will be these ones who are more based in these new values. So I had been feeling that. Then I even saw an astrologer talk about the same thing. So obviously there's something there where multiple people getting the same message, and then all of these things happening with Paris Hilton and all of that. But I'll speak more about that in the next video, because it addresses it more directly. But purpose is landing for us. So even through the more difficult things that you're going through, purpose is landing, and all you have to do is find center. I was speaking about this to a friend of mine, and you know, they were saying, should I chase the light or should I chase the darkness? And I was also like, yeah, I'm going through this period right now where I'm feeling more darkness, and it felt like, you know, I was sort of I don't usually go in depth into like conspiracy theories and all. I do believe that they exist, you know, there's lots out there that has not been revealed, but at the same time, I don't go into the nitty-gritties or whatever. And at that time, I found myself doing it and getting affected by it. You can still do it, you know, from a neutral perspective. If you're doing anything, it's fine, then you're just an observer. But I sort of lost that, you know, for those 2 days especially. And then Spirit brought me finally into the realization that I don't need to push for anything. I found myself on Facebook sharing these posts that were sharing, revealing sort of things that are happening, like in pedophilia, in the celebrity culture and all of that. And the audience that I have on Facebook, you know, generally speaking, they're not really into this. Like, they want to know about self-mastery and enlightenment and all the good things, but they're not actually those, for the most part, not everyone, you know. And I found that the more that I started sharing those sort of posts of late, there was less of a response to my posts like there used to be in the past. And I just felt inherently anyway, you know, Facebook was just adding to my extra time and not really leading to much. So I felt like, you know, if I want to share these things, first of all, you don't have to go into much detail, like be aware of everything. This is what Spirit told me is my guidance, because this is living in grace, in that you are not fighting anything. Even when you're an activist, you know, you're trying to fight against the system or do something, as long as you are fighting, there's a fight. So there is war within you. And I'm not saying that's not noble. Sometimes it's needed. But if you spend your whole life, let's say, doing that and, you know, trying to break the system, you will go through periods of it, and it's fine. Sometimes we need that more indigo energy to push through something. But if that's the main thing that we're living in, you know, and there's this fight within us, this war, it's also a noble thing, but it's not the highest. That's about all. So if you want to live in grace and self-mastery, Christ consciousness, it's not about this fighting. It's not about pushing your way through. It's not about trying to convince people. You just put your message out there within grace. Truth speaks for itself, without any exertion, without any effort almost. And the right people are drawn to it, because it's you know, the Christ knows that everything is based in vibration. You put a certain vibration out there, and like vibration is matched. It comes through, because otherwise you're expending too much energy, you know, like you're trying to convince people or you're trying to say something, and they're never gonna get it until they don't go through something at an experience level. So they need to choose it first. They need to be willing to go through that death process. So it's just an exertion of your energy, you know. When you are on the path of Christ consciousness, know that your energy is needed in other places. It's precious. So flow within grace. This is the message that I got that resonated with me. And the reason, I guess, part of the reason that I had forgotten this as well is because you're seeing, you know, in 2020, people questioning more. And then there's that a thing within you that finally people are beginning to see the truth. And you want to sort of jump in there and, you know, reveal all of this. But at the same time, things take their own time. People take their own time. So if you want to come through for them in a way that is more matches, you know, what that collective desire is, it doesn't, again, need to be forceful. So perhaps I'll have more insight on how to do this. It's more basically about just being centered. It's holding center and coming from center, rather than you know, exposing so many things about what is wrong with the world, what is wrong with them. We focus on conscious creation basically, and we hold center. You know, like the example that I gave you, that I'm going through an illness, but I was able to see so many things. This one event that is affecting me mainly for, like, let's say 2 weeks or something of my life has brought me so much alignment, because I was willing to see what is the gift here, why is this here in my life, what is the purpose. So when you can just hold that center, that is what holding center is, that no matter what is in front of you, if it's the darkness or the light, you see it as one. You know, you're not chasing after the light, you're not chasing after the darkness. It's just about embracing what is already here. What things that are drawn in my reality just come, they flow. So whatever is here for a reason, and I just need to be present in it, be centered, and see why is it here? How can I co-create with it in the highest possible way? And that is what we need to hold. So whatever that means for you, in a way that is effortless, in a way that you're not having to fight against things. Because I found myself getting frustrated. I was speaking to people, and they have just different opinions on antibiotics and this and that, and they don't necessarily feel that your path is right. But it's not about convincing other people. But at the same time, I found that when I relaxed, all of these people, because they're well-wishers of mine, they were able to come through for me, hold loving space for me. They were like, yeah, I know, I understand, taking antibiotics, it feels like this and this, and it's just for a while, and I completely understand. I also went through this weakness, and I feel for you. So you'll be able to connect with people, in a way that even though there is this difference, or there's a difference in opinion, however you want to look at it, there'll be a common point. And that is what grace is, that you're not pushing your way through anything, and there's harmony that is maintained for the most part. There's this overall flow of harmony that is there, and you move within that. Okay, so this video has turned out longer than I expected, as always. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, what you've been going through, if you've been going through anything testing. I do, like last night, I was still having some trouble sleeping, so I can't promise that I'll be making very regular videos, but I'll try. And there are some changes in my channel, in the sense that I won't be doing the weekly readings anymore. I might decide to do them on my Instagram, so you can join there if you want. You can find the link below this video in my socials, and perhaps every Monday I'll do a reading there if I'm called to. But on this channel, I'm not guided to anymore, even though I know many of you really loved it, and but somehow it's just doesn't feel it's just what I'm flowing with right at this time. And probably I won't be making more than 2 to 3 videos per week, but I'll flow. I'll see how it is. I would like things to be more simple and succinct, rather than exertion, because I also have another channel, so I'll be making videos there too, again 2 to 3 per week perhaps. So subscribe there if you want to see more, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed what I had to share today. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing this journey with me, and share below what you have been going through, what it has been showing you. And I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, especially those of you on Instagram who have been following me for years. I really felt the love. Yeah, it felt like a early birthday, because my birthday is also coming up. Okay guys, so I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.